In 1970, Rita Crundwell began working for Dixon. In 1983, Crundwell is named treasurer and controller of the town. In 1990, Crundwell opens a secret bank account in the city's name. In 1991, Crundwell began transferring funds from real city accounts to her fake city account. From 1992 to 2011, Crundwell keeps stealing, reaching a total of almost 54 million stolen dollars. In 2011, Dixon City Clerk opens the mail and discovers the account and then alerts the mayor. In 2012, Rita Crundwell is arrested by federal authorities and charged with wire fraud. In May of 2012, Crundwell pleads innocent. In June of 2012, a federal judge rules that Crundwell's 401 horses can be sold. The defendant does not object. In 2013, a judge sentences Crundwell to 19 years and 7 months in prison. Rita Crundwell was the sole key player in this fraud. She graduated from Dixon High School and began working for Dixon, Illinois. In 1983, she was named and appointed the treasurer of Dixon, Illinois, lasting until 2012. She had no major college degrees or certificates, and she had no need for them because she had more than anything a degree can offer. She had the trust of the townspeople. People loved Crundwell, calling her a perfect fit and cheerfully smart. She represented Dixon professionally very well and socially. She had a hobby with racing horses and was named the leading owner by the American Quarter Horse Association for 8 consecutive years prior to her arrest. Rita wrote and signed manual checks from a legitimate city capital fund checking account and then deposited them into her secret account. The bank would show this as a transfer from one city account to another. However, the city records never showed the deposits or disbursements for this. The capital check was recorded, but the deposit was not. Rita would then use the funds in the secret account for her personal expenses for over 20 years. She created fictitious invoices that said make checks payable to the treasurer because she was the treasurer. Rita overcharged businesses for sewer usage and wrote checks for more than the city's portion of the actual projects that were receiving grants. Rita had sole control of the city's bookkeeping and supervised whether funds would be distributed or not. She led city officials and employees to believe that the economy and late state payments were to blame for the lack of funds, which in turn caused Dixon to cut its budget, impacting city operation. Rita would also collect the mail, which included bank statements, so she could hide the secret bank account so no one would see it. If she were to go on vacation, she had family collect the mail and separate it out. So many lessons were learned with the Rita Crundwell case. One major lesson is that internal controls and segregation of duties should have been stronger or even put into place. Employees in accounting should be required to take mandatory vacation for 1 week or more, with someone else doing all the duties for that week. This will ensure that the replacement does the job completely and can note any unusual or fraudulent activity. Rita had too much trust. Many people were wondering how Rita paid for such a lavish lifestyle and all the horses and houses and cars and jewelry and clothes and accessories that came with the horse business. This should have raised some red flags to investigate. The previous structure placed executive authority in the hands of the city council, as well as 4 city commissioners. This would mean that one person then reports to the council versus department heads reporting to individual council members or commission members. The town needed a switch to a council member form of government. The city has replaced the commissioners with individual department heads and elected a new council. Another aspect of this transition is consolidation, particularly in public works. Instead of having a water department just fix your water problems, now they would also help with snow plowing and sewer department needs. The control environment. The city, which does not have a city manager, put too much trust in Rita and gave her wide rein over its finances and set the stage for her massive fraud. There was also a failure to segregate duties. Rita had sole control of the city bookkeeping and supervised whether funds would be distributed or not. She also had a very lavish lifestyle. Rita built a quarter horse breeding operation that produced 52 world champions and recognized by the American Quarter Horse Association. She also had many houses, cars, jewelry, and very expensive clothing. The judge ordered agreed restitution to the city of Dixon of almost $54 million, and he imposed an agreed forfeiture judgment in the same amount. Crundwell agreed to the liquidation of assets that she had acquired with the proceeds from her decades-long fraud scheme. To date, the U.S. Marshal Service has recovered more than $12.38 million from sales. Just in 1991, Crundwell transferred more than $181,000 to the secret account. As the fraud scheme continued, the amount she stole increased to a high of $5.8 million in 2008, and she took on an average of more than $2.5 million per year over the 20-year course of the scheme. Rita Crundwell, 60, formerly of Dixon, pleaded guilty on November 14, 2012 to wire fraud, and agreed she also engaged in money laundering in connection with stealing more than $53 million from the city since 1990, and used the proceeds to finance her quarter-horse farming business and life of luxury. It is believed to be the largest theft of public funds in state history. The government fixed the system, requiring internal controls to have a value system of checks and balances over personnel when it comes to fraud. This is especially true when everyone seems like a friendly neighbor. Without the right system in place, municipalities risk creating an embezzlement opportunity even for the most trusted employees.